Yes, and then we carry on with 2-4. The 2-4 profiles. 2-4 is on this cross, on the cross of planning, are very surprising. 2-4s can always be surprising. The thing is that it's so surprised about 2-4s, it's like a dormant gate in the emotional system or in the adrenaline system. It is really a surprise when it's suddenly active. There's something about the 2-4 that when you see them where they are not cold, you will see that they have a certain very laid back, very closed off frequency. They function, they're natural, and because they're natural, they don't suffer from the same kind of inner question. If you're a first time personality, there's always a part of you that's going to be insecure about the way you look at things, feel about things. If things go wrong, the martyrdom that grows out of the one tree is because the mind gets absorbed in thinking that there's a mistake in itself. But because the two is a natural, it doesn't pay attention to that. It doesn't know it has the problem in that sense. It only knows it has a problem when it gets fixed, fired, and suddenly realize, oh, suddenly it sort of concretizes around them. It's one of the things to see in how difficult it is to be on the cross of planning and to be a second line. It's like I don't know how it concretizes. I don't feel like I'm identifying with it. It's just something that I'm able to do it. And of course, we have the difficulty because the first foundation. Remember, the first line is the foundation. As the first line of the hexagram, as the first line personality of profile, it sets the foundation. The foundation is to be insecure. You have something solid. All human beings are insecure and they find something solid. This is the basic foundation. And so the second line suffers from that propaganda. The second line says, well, we're supposed to really understand why we can do something. We're supposed to really understand that if we have talent, we can transfer that talent to someone else. The 16th gate is a throat gate. It's a gate that speaks. The 11th gate in the throat is the quarter of all speech. So, you know, and one of the things that you have to see very clearly about concretizing is that concretizing is isolated through language, is initiated through communication. So, hello, huh? Who? No, it's Lippy speaking. Okay, hi. Okay, hi. How are you? Good. What can I? Okay. So I'm Enrikas. Okay, good. Okay, great. I'm here Enrikas. Great. So when you look at the logic gates, you might see there is a logic system in the throat that connects directly to a motor. The 16th gate is always begging for energy, and it's one of the things to be so clear is that much more of a 16th life is rooted in the dreams that cannot be fulfilled because of the lack of funding money. The 2-4, like all fours on the cross, are extraordinarily important as influences because they influence people in the sense that they can become identified as a group of projects. One of the things about the nature of logic and the nature of skills is that it's collective. Hello. I'm recording something right now. Give me 2 minutes. Yeah. The tribe can go straight to the throat through the 54, 45, 21. The abstract can go straight to the throat to a motor from the 35, 36. Individuality can do it in a number of ways. Only logic is starved of that energy, which is why you're looking at the 16th gate to see the power of identification, to get enough aura so that you make the money bridge. It's about momentum, it's about critical mass, it's about getting enough people to identify with the same thing so it naturally finds its energy. You can see that in the way in which logic committees work. You have these committees that study things, investigate things, make presentations, make proposals, and eventually it's amongst people of the public there's enough weight behind that. Ultimately, they can find their funding, and in finding the funding, they can go ahead and concretize the identification. The 16th gate is enormously important for us, and the 2-4 can be of great of those missionaries. But the 2-5, one of those things about it so obvious, give me a minute, about the nature. Order a drink or something. Huh?
We want to eat something, but we have no idea. We had lunch. We had dinner the other night.
Okay.
We maybe.
Are you gonna stay here for like a while?
3 minutes, I'm done. I'm recording now.
I understand, but
Yeah.
we want to eat something else and then come back.
Okay, it's
gonna
good.
eat
Yeah,
here?
yeah. Okay.
Can you eat?
Yeah, I'll be here. Yeah.
Okay, we come back.
Okay. Okay, good. Context of design, in other words, that each being is different. There must be those identified with obscure in this life. I know that for the health of all, that the continuity of history must be in the flesh. I don't have anything against, but there's this place. There's a place for a few surviving cannibals, and there's a place for all the diversity. We can put the humans in zoos to make sure that we keep them there. In these examples is what we have a rush now where we're trying genetically to save everything. As a matter of fact, one of the most interesting things is there's a scientific group in Washington, D.C. that successively last year had a cow give birth to some kind of extinct oxen. And there's this cow carrying this alien species in its body. By the way, because the principle was based on stem cells, it's quite conceivable. God bless Mother India. It's quite conceivable that we could actually gestate humans in cows. God bless Mother India. It's technically viable. Too. It's quite a thought, isn't it? Considering that women are going to be sterile, cows could come in really handy. Why don't you think the Indians have killed them? They know that eventually we could replace ourselves because all we have is cows. God loves a good joke. So the whole thing about two fives is the ability of skills that are obscure skills. What I mean of obscure, I remember that the 2-5 is reticent and paranoid to that. I really identify with this because it might be practical for others. It might lead them into having a very bad reputation because what it seems is that their focus on seems irrelevant. But remember something about the 2-5. It can be called too that obscura. That obscura can always have universalizing as capacity. The concept that floats around in the brain in the 40s may only be viable in the 70s. Now they are working away at making a television, and all of a sudden that obscure becomes something that's universalizing potential. The other thing that is that there's the door to shyness. Everything about the modern world is the recognition that the things that are changing our world are not single entities and they're not singly sourced. They are like the television set. There are all kinds of people who have claimed to have invented the television set, but in fact, all these people were part of the invention of the television set, each and every one of its aspects, whether it's ability to see moving images, or the ability to record sound, or the ability to create vacuum tubes, or the ability to able to alignment them with transistors, and on and on and on. And you begin to see that this incredible skillfulness that there is when the 2-5 and the 5-2 are in an exalted position on this cross. And rarely do I say that, as you know, it's a very spacious place for them, not so much that they're seen in the moment of being viable, but being recognized in the sense that ultimately they're the ones that get to see a certain skill can bring all kinds of skills together, and something else will come out of that. This is something very, very, very magical. So that's all of human design. It's a very magical system, because everything is super magical about it. So that's the